This page is the November 2000 issue of Dreamcast Magazine, featuring an exclusive online playtest of Quake 2 iArena. The cover showcases a striking image of a Quake 2 iArena player, helmet and all, wielding a weapon. The magazine boasts an exclusive demo disc with 6 playable games. Inside, reviews cover titles like Ultimate Fighting Championship, FE 355 Challenge, Power Stone 2, International Track and Field, and SEGA Extreme Sports. Also previewed are Shenmue, Le Mans 24 Hours, and Tony Hawk's Skateboarding 2. Solid issue for Dreamcast fans, though the reviewer's actual thoughts on the games aren't explicitly shown on this cover. This page showcases 6 playable demos on the cover disc. Ultimate Fighting Championship, offering versus mode with Frank Shamrock or Tito Ortiz. San Francisco Rush 2049, a racing game with single and multiplayer modes. Railroad Tycoon 2, a railway simulation. SEGA Extreme Sports, featuring snowboarding and other extreme sports. Sydney 2000, a fitness game, and Tokyo Highway Challenge 2, a racing game. Additionally, there are movie previews of Le Mans 24 Hours, Ready to Rumble Boxing, Round 2, and Sega Worldwide Soccer 2001. The page also includes a fun article about the early days of Doom, and the reviewer's experience downloading and playing the early version of Quake. Overall, a good spread of game genres, and a nostalgic trip down memory lane for 90s PC gamers. Paya. This page is the November 2000 issue of the official Dreamcast magazine. It's a contents page, previewing games like Quake 2 in Arena, Shenmue, Tony Hawk's Skateboarding 2, Ready to Rumble Boxing 2, SEGA Worldwide Soccer 2001, and Pod 2. Reviews cover Ultimate Fighting Championship, Space Channel 5, and F 355 Challenge. Features include a look at SEGA Extreme Sports, and the magazine also includes a Dreamcast owner's guide and regular sections like charts and gadgets. Essentially, it's a good overview of what's hot in the Dreamcast world that month, mixing previews, reviews, and features. This page is a 2-page spread focusing on F1 World Grand Prix 2 for Dreamcast. It features screenshots of the game showcasing gameplay and the pit lane. The back page lists the Dreamcast magazine staff and contributors, including Warren Christmas, Paul Presley, Tanya Chalkin, and Joe Roberts. Paul's thoughts on Dreamcast games are included, highlighting Soul Calibur and Rally 2. The overall impression is a promotional piece for the game, coupled with a Meet the Team feature for the magazine. This page is a 2-page spread showcasing Quake 2 iArena for the Dreamcast. It features dramatic artwork depicting the game's characters in action, accompanied by enthusiastic text, praising it as the Dreamcast's most important release of the year, and a revolutionary online experience. The reviewer, clearly excited, predicts that Quake 2 iArena will redefine living room gaming. The article briefly touches upon the game's single-player mode, describing it as damn good fun, but the main focus is on the groundbreaking online multiplayer. The text playfully compares the game's characters to Arnold Schwarzenegger, and emphasizes the intense, competitive nature of online matches. This page is a 2-page spread focusing on Quake 2, iArena's Dreamcast release. It features screenshots of intense gameplay, highlighting the lightning gun and the frantic multiplayer action. The text gushes over the game's addictive nature and excellent online performance via Dream Arena, even comparing it to a potential future Olympic event. The reviewer is clearly smitten, predicting it will redefine home console gaming. Gamer. This page details Quake 2 iArena's weaponry, showcasing each weapon with a screenshot and a short description of its strengths and weaknesses. The reviewer highlights the game's online capabilities via Dream Arena, praising its low ping times and smooth gameplay, even suggesting its potential as an Olympic esport. The overall tone is overwhelmingly positive, emphasizing the game's addictive qualities and polished online experience. The article also briefly touches on character customization options. Borington Norcus. This page is a detailed guide to the power-ups in Quake 2 iArena for the Dreamcast. It features screenshots and descriptions of each power-up, including the battle suit, haste, medkit, mega health, invisibility, personal teleporter, quad damage, and regeneration. The article emphasizes the importance of collecting and strategically using these power-ups for success. The reviewer highlights the fast-paced gameplay and the need for skillful strategic planning beyond just shooting, mentioning techniques like circle strafing. There's a positive assessment of the game's balance and level design. Warrington, May. This page is a full-page advertisement for Metropolis Street Racer on the SEGA Dreamcast. It features a stylish image of a Vauxhall Vex 220 speeding through a city at night, emphasizing skillful driving over sheer speed. The advert received a 9/10 score from the magazine. This page is a double-page spread previewing several Dreamcast games. The left side focuses on Unreal Tournament, showcasing screenshots of intense multiplayer action and highlighting its upcoming release, boasting superior online capabilities compared to Quake 2 iArena. The right side features Commandos 2, a World War II strategy game promising challenging gameplay and stunning visuals, similar to its PC counterpart. Also previewed is Planet Harriers, a 3D arcade-style shooter sequel to Space Harriers, featuring dual-player action and a lock-on system. There's a brief news segment about Sega's Popcorn Power event. This page is a double-page spread featuring news and previews of various Dreamcast games. The left side focuses on the Choo Choo Rocket European Championship, highlighting the Irish winner Kevin Lim and his online gaming prowess. The right side showcases Planet Ring, Sega's upcoming online theme park with addictive minigames, and mentions other Dreamcast titles like 18-Wheeler, Donald Duck, Quack Attack, and Crazy Taxi. It also includes brief news snippets on other games and events, including the conversion of Resident Evil 3, Nemesis to Dreamcast. This double-page spread in Dreamcast Magazine previews upcoming games. The left side features a review of Get Carter, Boys Don't Cry, and American Psycho, along with a detailed preview of Sega's Headhunter, a stylish action-adventure game with motorbike racing elements. The right side presents a most wanted list ranking Dreamcast games based on reader votes, including Shenmue, Metropolis Street Racer, Half-Life, Grandia 2, Sonic Adventure 2, Quake 2 iArena, Phantasy Star Online, Black and White, and Jet Set Radio. There's also a sneak peek at Capcom's Resident Evil follow-up, Agatha, promising survival horror in a subterranean city. The magazine also includes a Have Your Say section, encouraging readers to vote for their most anticipated upcoming Dreamcast games. This page is a jam-packed gaming news and previews spread. The left side showcases arcade game Capcom vs SNK, Millennium Fight 2000, pitting classic fighting game characters against each other in a visually stunning and fast-paced brawl. The reviewer is clearly impressed, highlighting the game's graphics and sound design. The right side features news on Sega's Gun Valkyrie, a light gun game set in a steampunkish alternate 1890, and Toy Commander racing game sequel, Toy Racer. There's also news bites on other games, including Grand Prix 3, Shenmue, Hoops Dreams Ace, and NHL 2K2. Overall, it's a great snapshot of the Dreamcast's exciting game lineup at that time. This page features the HMV Dreamcast Top 10 chart for October/November 2000, highlighting Virtua Tennis as the top game, followed by Hidden and Dangerous, Sydney 2000, and Wafer Striker. The playlist section reviews Virtua Tennis, Metropolis Street Racer, Resident Evil, Code Veronica, and Rayman 2, with the reviewer praising the graphics and gameplay of the first two. There's also a competition to win 10 Dreamcast games from HMV. This page showcases a selection of quirky gadgets and gizmos, perfect for the gadget enthusiast. The highlights include the Martian's Brains toy, a rather unusual addition to any toy collection, a hands-free kit for mobile phones, and a rather unique beanbag chair that you can vacuum seal yourself into. There is also a wrist-mounted PDA and virtual reality goggles. The reviewer seems to have a playful and slightly sarcastic tone, particularly in their descriptions of the Martian Brains toy and the Mist chair. Overall, the page is a fun look at some unusual tech and toys from November 2000. This page covers Sega's Dreamcast ECTS trade show in Leicester Square, London. The article features interviews with various Dreamcast fans and industry figures, mentioning games like Virtua Tennis, Shenmue, Jet Set Radio, Gun Valkyrie, Daytona USA, Space Channel 5, Phantasy Star Online, Soul Calibur, Capcom vs SNK, Quake 2 iArena, and Black and White. The overall tone is enthusiastic and celebratory, highlighting the event's movie premiere style, and the excitement surrounding the Dreamcast's upcoming releases. Sonic the Hedgehog even makes a cameo appearance in the pictures. This page is a full-page advertisement for Star Wars Episode I, Jedi Power Battles for the Dreamcast. It features screenshots of lightsaber duels and gameplay, urging players to clear your mind, focus your thoughts, and reach for your lightsaber. This page features former Olympic athlete Derek Redmond testing his skills on various athletic video games, including Sydney 2000, Virtua Athlete, and International Track and Field. The article highlights his surprisingly fast times and comments on the relaxing atmosphere of the Olympic Village, which apparently included a lot of gaming. Redmond even beats a world record in the games, prompting the writer to question if these games truly offer a better idea of the sport. The writer seems impressed by the detail and realism of the games, although a bit sarcastic about his own athletic abilities. This page is an interview with Kazutoshi Miyake, SEGA Europe's chief operating officer, a former karate champion. The article discusses his career, his stress-relieving habit of punching a training dummy, which he calls PS2, and SEGA's plans for online gaming, highlighting the success of Choo Choo Rocket and Virtua Tennis. Several Dreamcast games are advertised, including Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, WWF Royal Rumble, MSR Metropolis Street Racer, and Railroad Tycoon 2. The reviewer seems impressed by Miyake's personality and optimistic about SEGA's future. This page is a preview of the Dreamcast game Le Mans 24 Hours, focusing on its graphics, gameplay, and authenticity. The reviewer, Dan Trent, highlights the game's impressive visuals, detailing the realistic car models, track environments, and even the glowing brake discs. He mentions the close racing, the number of cars on track, up to 20, and various tracks included. The article emphasizes the developer's dedication to realism, citing consultations with Le Mans drivers and attendance at the actual race. The game boasts 11 real tracks, including Le Mans, Bugatti, BRNO, and Suzuka, and 40 different cars. The reviewer seems very impressed by the game's attention to detail and the developer's commitment to realism. This page is a continuation of the Le Mans 24 Hours preview, focusing on the game's day-night cycle and the 24-hour endurance race mode. The article praises the realistic transitions between day and night, highlighting the lengthening shadows and beautiful sunsets. It mentions the accelerated race mode for those short on time, and the impressive number of cars on the track, up to 20. The reviewer clearly enjoyed the game's level of detail and realism, calling the day-night transformation wonderful. A smaller section promotes a Nokia game competition. This page is a preview of Shenmue, focusing on its immersive world and story. It features screenshots showcasing the game's graphics and environments, highlighting the detail and realism. The article emphasizes the game's unique role-playing elements and the importance of its plot, describing it as a new kind of adventure game. The translation process from Japanese to English is also discussed, mentioning the extensive voice acting work involved. Ryo Hazuki, the main character, is described as a cool and tough hero. The overall tone suggests a high level of anticipation for the game's release. Raju. This page is a double-page spread previewing two games, Tony Hawk Skateboarding 2 and Ready to Rumble Boxing, Round 2. The Tony Hawk section shows off gameplay screenshots, highlighting new tricks, improved graphics, and the ability to create custom skate parks. The reviewer is clearly excited, promising that fans of the original will be thrilled. The Ready to Rumble Boxing section features screenshots showcasing the updated roster, including Michael Jackson and Shaquille O'Neal, and mentions improved AI and new fighting mechanics. The tone suggests a fun, fast-paced sequel building on the original's success. This page is a double-page spread showcasing previews for SEGA Worldwide Soccer 2001 and Pod 2. The SWWS 2001 preview highlights the inclusion of women's football teams, improved graphics, and an arcade mode. The reviewer seems amused by the slightly disproportionate female player models, but overall positive about the game's potential. The Pod 2 preview focuses on its futuristic alien pod racing theme, online multiplayer capabilities, and power-ups. The reviewer is enthusiastic about the potential of the online play, comparing it to a water flume. Both previews contain screenshots to illustrate the gameplay. This page is a double-page spread, advertising a 3-issue trial subscription to official Dreamcast Magazine and PC Zone. The Dreamcast Magazine trial highlights risk-free cancellation and includes playable demos of games like Resident Evil, Code Veronica, Sydney 2000, Virtua Athlete, and UEFA 2001. The PC Zone section promotes its website, featuring reviews, downloads, hints, and tips for various PC games, including Tomb Raider 2, Falcon 4.0, and Resident Evil 2. The advert cleverly plays on the anxieties of gamers by using a bold warning headline. It's a pretty slick marketing ploy, I must admit. This page is a competition entry form offering a mountain of SEGA goodies as prizes. The grand prize includes a Salomon snowboard, various Dreamcast branded clothing items, and a football signed by the French national team. Other prizes include additional snowboards, clothing, and other Dreamcast related merchandise. To enter, you need to answer 3 simple questions about Dreamcast history. It's a fun competition with some seriously awesome prizes up for grabs. Cool! This page features a review of WWF Royal Rumble for the Dreamcast, praising its graphics and gameplay, calling it as good as it gets. The reviewer's personal anecdote about Metropolis Street Racer and Shenmue highlights the immersive nature of these games and their lasting impact. Other games reviewed include F1 World Grand Prix 2, Hidden and Dangerous, International Track and Field, Power Stone 2, SEGA Extreme Sports, Space Channel 5, Time Stalkers, Ultimate Fighting Championship, Urban Chaos, and Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. The page also includes a rating system for games. Yield. This page is a review of Ultimate Fighting Championship for the Dreamcast. It features screenshots showcasing the game's graphics, particularly the detail of the fighters and the realistic depiction of the fighting style. The review highlights the game's simple yet deep controls, realistic graphics, over 5,000 polygons per character, and immersive gameplay. There's also a short interview with the game's producer, Jeff Barnhart, who discusses the game's development and his personal gaming preferences. The overall tone is positive, emphasizing the game's realism and replayability. This page delves into the gameplay of Ultimate Fighting Championship for Dreamcast. It praises the game's incredibly realistic violence, extensive movesets, over 3,000 moves and 1,200 combos, and the depth of the Creative Fighter mode. The reviewer also compares it favorably to Soul Calibur, highlighting UFC's realism as its main advantage, while acknowledging Soul Calibur's superior fantasy elements. The various game modes, including Championship and Career modes, are mentioned, and the review concludes with a glowing recommendation for serious fighting game fans. The overall tone is overwhelmingly positive, calling it a pure joy to behold. This page reviews Space Channel 5, a Dreamcast dance game. The colorful screenshots showcase Ulala, the main character, and the quirky alien antagonists. The review is overwhelmingly positive, praising the game's funky music, stylish visuals, and unique gameplay. While noting the short length and occasionally tricky controls, the reviewer concludes that the game's charm and addictive nature make it a must-have, especially for fans of rhythm games. The article also includes a short interview with the game's producer, Ru. This page is a review of the Dreamcast game F355 Challenge. The reviewer, Toby Gunn, focuses on the game's incredibly realistic driving simulation, praising its accurate representation of the Ferrari 355 and the challenging gameplay. Several screenshots show various in-game situations, highlighting the car's performance and the detailed environments. The article mentions the game's training mode and driver assist options, which can be toggled on or off, making it accessible to different skill levels. The reviewer emphasizes that achieving victory requires near-perfect driving. Anything less will result in defeat. The impressive graphics and realistic driving physics are lauded, making this a must-have for racing game fans. This page is a continuation of the F355 Challenge review. It highlights the game's superb tracks, including Monza and Suzuka, smooth 60 FPS gameplay, and 2-player split-screen mode. The reviewer notes the somewhat underwhelming engine sound and lack of online play, but praises the Ghost Car feature, allowing players to download and compete against others' lap times. The overall verdict is positive, describing it as a purist's dream, though perhaps too challenging for some. A score of very good is awarded. This page is a review of Power Stone 2 for the Dreamcast. The review is mixed. While praising the 4-player simultaneous battles, vibrant visuals, and the large number of items and weapons, it criticizes the game's short-lived appeal and somewhat awkward camera angles. The reviewer states that the quality is there, but it doesn't feel right as a complete package. The article includes several screenshots, showcasing the game's fast-paced action and diverse environments. A short interview with the game's producer is also featured. The overall verdict is that Power Stone 2 is fun for multiplayer, but loses its appeal quickly. DAO. This page is a review of ESPN International Track and Field for the Dreamcast. The review is mostly positive, praising the gameplay but criticizing the game's presentation. Screenshots show various events like the 100 meters dash, long jump, and pole vault. A short interview with a Konami representative is included. The reviewer highlights the game's accurate representation of Olympic events, but notes some shortcomings. The overall impression is that it's a fun but flawed game. Key. This page continues the review of ESPN International Track and Field for Dreamcast, focusing on the game's multiplayer mode and providing a walkthrough for the Vault event. The reviewer highlights the frantic fun of the multiplayer, but points out that the single-player mode is far too easy, criticizing repetitive animations and poor sound mixing. The overall verdict is positive for multiplayer, but negative for the single-player experience, awarding it a very good rating. This page is a review of the Dreamcast game Urban Chaos. The reviewer, Paul Presley, praises the game's freedom and varied missions, but criticizes the clumsy controls. Screenshots show gameplay, highlighting the game's dark and violent future city setting. The article includes a walkthrough of an early mission and quotes the game's director, Mike Diskett. The overall verdict is positive despite control issues, rating the game pretty good. Other games mentioned are Revolt, Quake 2 iArena, and Virtua Tennis. This page is a review of F1 World Grand Prix 2 for the Dreamcast. The reviewer found the game to be a noticeable improvement over its predecessor, particularly praising the improved handling and more accessible options. However, they felt the game lacked excitement and criticized the lack of proper commentary and somewhat underwhelming damage system. The article includes screenshots showcasing the game's graphics, details on the new Sepang circuit, and information on driver Pedro Diniz. The overall verdict is that the game is improved but still not very exciting. There's also a short interview with Stuart Arrowsmith of Video System. This page is a review of Sega Extreme Sports for the Dreamcast. The review is mixed, praising the game's soundtrack and some of the events, but criticizing the overall design and shallow gameplay. The reviewer finds that many of the sports are more like decoration than substantial gameplay. Screenshots show various extreme sports such as hang gliding, ATV racing, and snowboarding. The overall verdict is not extremely good, not extremely bad, giving it an average score of 5 out of 10. A short interview with the game's producer, Matt O'Driscoll, is included. This page reviews Time Stalkers for the Dreamcast. The reviewer finds the game disappointing, citing a frustratingly linear storyline, shallow character development, and repetitive gameplay. While the visuals are praised, the overall experience is deemed underwhelming, scoring a lowly 4 out of 10. Screenshots showcase the game's characters and environments. This page features a review of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire for the Dreamcast, alongside a preview of Power Stone 2. The Millionaire review is mixed. While faithful to the TV show, it's criticized for poor graphics and repetitive gameplay, scoring a disappointing 3/10. In contrast, Power Stone 2 receives a glowing review and 92% score, highlighting its enhanced gameplay, dazzling graphics, and 4-player mode. Screenshots of both games are included. Key. This page is a review of Hidden and Dangerous for the Dreamcast. The review praises the game's tactical gameplay, but criticizes the clunky interface and sluggish controls, especially when using a joypad. The graphics, while decent, are noted as being seemingly copied from the PC version. Screenshots show various in-game scenarios, including vehicle combat and sniping. The reviewer highlights the game's realistic one-shot kill mechanic and the importance of tactical planning. Overall, while acknowledging some flaws, the review is largely positive about the game's strategic depth. This page is a double-page spread. The left side continues the review of Hidden and Dangerous, detailing mission objectives and the game's varied gameplay. The reviewer notes the game's cinematic feel, inspired by war films. Despite some flaws, like inconsistent AI and graphical issues, the overall assessment remains positive, highlighting the game's depth and immersive atmosphere, even if controlling it with a joypad is a bit of a chore. The right side is a full-page advertisement for ESPN Track and Field for the Dreamcast, showcasing screenshots of various athletic events. The advert highlights the game's fast-paced action and focuses on the wide variety of events available. This page is a Gameplay magazine advert, showcasing Dreamcast games and accessories. It features titles like Metropolis Street Racer, Dead or Alive 2, Ferrari 355 Challenge, House of the Dead 2, and Sonic Adventure, alongside peripherals like a keyboard, arcade controller, and steering wheel. The advert emphasizes the console's 3D graphics capabilities, and offers a full 10-day no-quibble returns policy. A long list of other games, and their prices are also shown. This page is a double-page spread showcasing Gameplay's Dreamcast bundle offers. 3 bundles are advertised, each pairing a Dreamcast game, Virtua Tennis, Virtua Athlete 2K, and Sydney 2000, with an arcade stick, all at a reduced price. The back issues of official Dreamcast magazine are also promoted, featuring cover art showcasing games like Metropolis Street Racer, Soul Calibur, and Resident Evil: Code Veronica. The advert includes a coupon for ordering back issues. Podra. Calibur. This page features the Dreamcast Magazine team's review of Yo! Sushi, a swanky Japanese restaurant in London. The blurry photo depicts the team enjoying drinks and food, clearly having a jolly good time. The accompanying text praises the restaurant's innovative approach, self-service beer taps, and the overall experience. The main article is complemented by a Up for Discussion section reviewing 4 Dreamcast games: WWF, Royal Rumble, Metropolis Street Racer, Virtua Tennis, and San Francisco Rush 2049. The games are briefly described, with accompanying screenshots. The overall tone is enthusiastic and light-hearted. This page is a review spread for 4 Dreamcast games: WWF Royal Rumble, Metropolis Street Racer, Virtua Tennis, and San Francisco Rush 2049. The reviewers, Ed, Alex, Warren, and Dan, offer their opinions on each game, covering gameplay, graphics, and overall enjoyment. While generally positive, the reviews highlight specific strengths and weaknesses. For example, WWF Royal Rumble is praised for its chaotic fun, but criticized for lacking depth, while Metropolis Street Racer is lauded for its London-based setting and handling, but criticized for its initial slow pace and unusual mission structure. Virtua Tennis is mostly praised for its simple yet effective gameplay, while San Francisco Rush 2049 is found to be fun, but ultimately lacking in detail. The overall tone is casual and conversational, reflecting a lively discussion among the reviewers. This page is a developer interview with the team behind the Dreamcast game Wacky Races. It features screenshots from the game, showing its colorful cartoon style and fast-paced racing action. The interview covers various aspects of game development, including the inspiration behind the game, the challenges of adapting the cartoon to 3D, and the team's thoughts on the Dreamcast hardware. The developers discuss the voice acting, the selection of weapons and power-ups, and their future plans. Overall, the article presents a fun and insightful look at the creation of Wacky Races for Dreamcast. This page explores the various roles within the video game industry, focusing on the often underestimated job of a journalist. It features stylized illustrations of journalists at work, alongside text detailing the responsibilities, prospects, salary, and qualifications needed for a career in games journalism. The article also touches on the sometimes contentious relationship between game developers and journalists, highlighting the influence journalists have on a game's success. Essentially, it's a career guide for aspiring games writers, offering a realistic view of the job's demands and rewards. This page is a continuation of the previous page's career guide for aspiring games journalists. It features interviews with 3 journalists, John Bennett, Steve Hill and Steve Key, detailing their career paths, experiences as freelancers and editors, and advice for those interested in entering the field. The pros and cons of freelancing and editing are discussed, along with the daily tasks involved in each role. Specific games mentioned include Mean Machines, SEGA, PC Power, PC Zone, Loaded, Maxim, Official Chelsea Magazine, Goal, FHM, T2, Telegraph, Max Power, and Disney Big Time. The overall tone is informative and realistic, offering a practical insight into the realities of working in games journalism. This page is a player's guide for Virtua Tennis on Dreamcast, featuring tips and tactics from Chris Edmondson. It covers positioning, shot control, and serving techniques with accompanying screenshots, illustrating optimal strategies. The guide emphasizes court positioning and shot timing for maximum power and accuracy. TL. This page continues the Virtua Tennis Dreamcast guide, delving into more advanced techniques. It covers returning serves, offering strategic positioning advice illustrated with helpful screenshots. There's a section on World Circuit Trials, outlining challenges like hitting all boards on the court within a time limit to unlock new outfits. The guide also reveals secrets to unlock characters like King and Master, along with tips on beating them. The overall tone is helpful and informative, providing practical strategies for improving gameplay. This page is a walkthrough for the final stages of Echo the Dolphin, Defender of the Future. It features screenshots and step-by-step instructions for navigating challenging levels like Anguish of Death, Entrapment, Caverns of Hope, and Lair of Evil. The guide highlights key puzzles, boss fights, including an alligator, and the use of sonar and stealth. It's clearly aimed at players struggling with the game's later, more difficult sections, providing a helpful hand to finish the game. This page continues the Echo the Dolphin walkthrough, focusing on the later, trickier levels. It details how to overcome specific challenges within Ice and Fire, Abyss of Inferno, and the revisited Hanging Waters levels, providing visual aids with screenshots of each area to show players exactly where to go. The guide emphasizes using sonar, stealth, and quick thinking to defeat bosses and solve environmental puzzles, ultimately guiding players to the game's conclusion. The tone is helpful and instructional, targeted at players needing assistance with the game's more difficult parts. This page is a walkthrough for the later levels of Echo the Dolphin. It features screenshots and instructions for defeating bosses in levels like Chance of Reckoning, Hatchery, Seeds of Poison, Transfiguration, and Heart of the Foe. The guide emphasizes strategic use of sonar, stealth, and quick thinking to navigate tricky sections and overcome the game's final challenges. This page offers solutions to reader queries about various Dreamcast games. It features tips and tricks for MDK2, Choo Choo Rocket, and Tomb Raider: The Last Revelation, along with character unlock codes for Dead or Alive 2 and Star Wars Episode I: Racer. The page also includes strategies for bosses in Sword of the Berserk and Blodia 2. There's a healthy dose of helpful advice and some light-hearted banter throughout, classic gaming magazine style. This page showcases the Dreamcast magazine's monthly challenges. Readers can compete for a copy of F355 Challenge by achieving top scores in various Dreamcast games. The featured games are Metropolis Street Racer, Marvel vs. Capcom 2, and Star Wars Episode I: Racer. The results of the previous month's competition are also displayed, showing the top 10 players for each game challenge, including their scores and locations. The page also includes a cheeky advert for Barry's World, an online service for serious gamers. This page is a Dreamcast game review roundup. It provides brief summaries and scores, out of 10, for a plethora of games, including Four Wheel Thunder, Aerowings 2, Airstrike, Blue Stinger, Buggy Heat, Buster Move 4, Dead or Alive 2, Deadly Skies, Dragon's Blood, Dynamite Cop, Echo the Dolphin, Defender of the Future, ECW Hardcore Revolution, Evolution, F1 World Grand Prix, Fighting Force 2, Fur Fighters, Gauntlet Legends and Choo Choo Rocket, and Caesar's Palace 2000. The reviews are quite succinct, offering little more than a single paragraph overview per game, along with a score. The tone is somewhat cynical in places, with a few games getting a bit of a roasting. The overall impression is one of a magazine that's not afraid to share its honest opinions, even if those opinions aren't always glowing. The Visual Memory FAQ section also provides helpful information about this memory card accessory for the Dreamcast. This page continues the Dreamcast game review roundup from the previous page, showcasing a further selection of titles. Reviews are concise, offering a short summary and a score out of 10 for each game. The games featured include GTA 2, House of the Dead 2, Hydro Thunder, Incoming, Jimmy White's 2, Cue Ball, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Legacy of Kain, Soul Reaver, NHL 2K, Pen, Plasma Sword, The Nightmare of Bill Stein, Maken X, Marvel vs. Capcom 2, MDK2, Midway's Greatest Hits Volume 1, Power Stone, Psychic Force 2012, Railroad Tycoon 2, Rayman 2, The Great Escape, Ready 2 Rumble Boxing, Metropolis Street Racer and Nightmare Creatures 2. The reviewer's tone remains consistently blunt, with some games receiving less than stellar reviews. A FAQ section provides answers to common Dreamcast online queries. This page is a continuation of the Dreamcast game reviews, featuring games like Red Dog, Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil, Code Veronica, Revolt, Roadsters, and Spirit of Speed 1937. The reviews are short and to the point, providing a brief description and score for each. The reviewer's tone is quite critical, highlighting flaws and not shying away from negative opinions. A notable inclusion is the Sega Bass Fishing game, which sounds like a bit of a novelty, and San Francisco Rush 2049, which appears to have online capabilities. There is also a FAQ section, answering common queries regarding Dreamcast peripherals and online features. Overall, the page maintains the same style and tone as the previous one, presenting a concise and opinionated review roundup. Jura. This page continues the Dreamcast game reviews, showcasing a diverse range of titles. The reviews are concise and often critical, highlighting both strengths and weaknesses. Games featured include Tomb Raider, The Last Revelation, Tony Hawk Skateboarding, Toy Commander, Vigilante 8-2 ND Offense, Virtua Athlete 2K, Virtua Fighter 3 TB, Rally 2 Expert Edition, Wacky Races, Walt Disney World Quest, Magical Racing Tour, Weetrix Plus, Wild Metal, Worms Armageddon, and WWF Attitude. The reviewers' opinions are clearly expressed, with some games receiving higher praise than others. The overall tone remains consistent with the previous page, providing a quick, opinionated overview of the Dreamcast's offerings. This page features reader reviews of Dreamcast games, including Echo the Dolphin, Defender of the Future, GTA 2, and Silver. Reviewers praise Echo the Dolphin's originality and beautiful graphics, though some find it frustrating. GTA 2 is lauded for its gameplay and dark humor, but criticized for its simplistic graphics. Silver receives a harsh review, deemed dull and uninspired. The Wild Metal and MDK2 reviews are also included, with MDK2 getting a more positive response despite its length. The reader review section concludes with a call for reader submissions. Wire. This page is a comprehensive guide to television-related websites, categorized and reviewed. The sites cover a range of shows, from Buffy the Vampire Slayer and The Bill, to Friends, EastEnders and South Park. The reviews highlight design, content, and interactivity, praising some for their innovative features and fan engagement. The reviewer seems to favor sites offering exclusive content and community interaction, with a slight bias towards Buffy and South Park. The overall tone is informative and enthusiastic, showcasing the best of what the internet had to offer for TV fans at the time. This page features a group interview with several individuals working in the video game industry. The article focuses on how to break into the games industry, with advice from a recruiter, testers, a human resources manager, and more. They discuss essential skills, passion for games, communication, different entry points, testing, and how to impress potential employers, demonstrate clear interest and relevant skills. The individuals mention games like Amiga, PlayStation, and Dreamcast, highlighting the shift in platforms. The overall tone is informative and encouraging, offering practical career advice. This page continues the interview from the previous page, delving deeper into the challenges and rewards of breaking into the video game industry. The discussion covers essential skills, basic skills, enthusiasm, the importance of work experience, placements, internships, and the value of networking. Interviewees highlight the need to showcase genuine passion and skills, emphasizing the importance of tailored CVs and demos, rather than generic applications. The advice centers on being proactive, demonstrating initiative, and having a well-defined career goal. The overall tone remains helpful and encouraging, offering practical advice to aspiring game developers. This page is a reader's letters page from Dreamcast Magazine. It features letters from readers discussing various aspects of the Dreamcast console and games, including online play, Choo Choo Rocket, the magazine's game reviews and scoring system, and the Dreamcast community. Screenshots show Metropolis Street Racer and Code Veronica. Readers also touch upon games like Gran Turismo, Dead or Alive 2, Tony Hawk's Skateboarding, Power Stone, and Soul Calibur. The letters range from positive feedback and appreciation to criticism of the magazine's scoring system and humorous anecdotes about the Dreamcast's online community. One letter mentions the formation of online gaming teams and leagues, highlighting the growing competitive aspect of online gaming. This page is a double-page spread advert for Urban Chaos and Virtua Tennis. The Urban Chaos advert features screenshots of the game and quotes, praising its graphics and gameplay. The Virtua Tennis section features a humorous anecdote from an HMV Games manager about the game's popularity and pre-release demo, highlighting the game's intense gameplay. The advert cleverly uses the manager's story to create hype for the game's release. This page is a double-page spread. One side shows a gameplay magazine bundle offer for Metropolis Street Racer and a Thrustmaster racing wheel for the Dreamcast. The other side is a preliminary version notice for a magazine reissue project, explaining the process of restoring and digitizing old gaming magazines. The project aims to preserve these titles for future generations to enjoy, with a focus on high-resolution versions and respecting publishers' rights. The text emphasizes the time-consuming nature of the restoration work and the project's non-profit nature.